Well, hey everybody. I had so much fun in the last lesson with this recently returned Eastwood of mine that I decided to do another lesson with it. In this lesson, and I believe this would be video number 10 now in the slide guitar series in the tuning of Open E. So in this lesson, what we're going to look at here is behind the slide chord that can be made using fretting behind the slide as we did in the last lesson. It's kind of a cool thing, but this one here is what we're looking for here is a very, very subtle touch. Now before we do the lick, I'll show you what I mean. This particular guitar, the action is set just a touch higher than normal action, just for slide. I like it that way. It doesn't have to be, but it's easier if it is. And also for this trick to work, I really love using these flat wound chromes. You don't need to. You can use a round wound, but with the flat wound, you don't have any of the noise. The scratchy noise from a round string. You know what I mean? So, also, because of their flat, we can get this beautiful chord sound. Now, that's a little bit wonky there, but it's a cool sound, but also I'm going to show you something here, and watch this hand. My action is just high enough that if I just barely touch the strings, I can put down my index finger See what I'm doing there? Now that's an exercise you can also do to work on your feather technique. Very simple technique, but what we're doing here is just gently, ever so slightly using the slide against the string. Now, if you goof it up a little bit, you can raise the slide off a little bit as we did in the last lesson, but for this one, we're really working on the feather touch. So, stay tuned, we'll break this lick right down. So let's tear the riff down. I'll play the first part of it for you first so you have an idea of exactly what we're doing here. Okay, so let's tear it apart bit by bit here. We're going to start, the whole riff is based in the key of B, so we're going to start at the 7th fret. We're going to slide into it using just the ball tip on the 4th string, sliding into the 7th fret. Okay, then we're going to use a backward roll using our index finger, our 2nd finger, index finger, and thumb. Okay. Very subtle, very simple. Little vibrato. And then to end this part of the lick, we're going to use the 2-string combination that we've talked about in other lessons, where we're going to use the index finger on the 3rd string and the 2nd finger on the 2nd string, respectively. We're going to pluck them together while at the same time taking the index finger and putting it down at the 5th fret on the 3rd string. So it creates that little chord. You hear it there? Now when I lift the finger off, that's how subtle it is. Very subtle, very tricky. What this lesson should help you do is really work on not being so aggressive with the slide. I know I start out wanting to grab the neck hard, and when you do that, you can't get all those subtle tones that sound so great. Okay? And then a little vibrato at the end as always. However, this vibrato is going to be a little bit tricky because you've got 2 anchor points now. It's going to maybe feel weird. Maybe not if you're a prodigy. I'm not. So it's going to feel a bit weird until you really get the hang of it. Just a subtle vibrato. Okay, one thing I will say again is that your action should be just a little bit higher if you can take it. And for this to really work, you have to use these flat wound strings. They just sound so much cleaner. So let's look at the first part of it. Just clean that up a bit. Okay. So stay tuned. We'll tear apart the second half of the lick, which is the super easy part, and then we'll get to that jam track. Stay tuned. As promised, the second part of the riff is super easy. So let's just run over it. This is going to involve just more of this spider technique, or at least this hand technique, just to help with the backward and forward rolls. So that's the lick. Let's do it one more time. Okay, so the second part of the lick, we just slide up from the 7th to the 9th and back down again using the index finger with the slide on the second string. Okay. And then finish it with an index and the thumb. The index finger will be in the 3rd string, thumb will be on the 4th string. So it's just like a backward roll again. One more time. And then the very tail end of this lick, we just shift everything down one string with a 3 finger combination. So we're going to end the lick with same backward roll. One more time. Okay, so let's review the entire lick. And a little vibrato, as always, at the end. If you've been following along on these lessons with me, I've been talking a lot about this vibrato because it's my favorite thing, and it is the signature. Okay, before we get to the jam track, let's run the entire lick from front to back, and then we'll get to it. Now, I think the jam track might be a little bit speedier. It's a little shorter this time. We're only going to do a 40-second jam track. Now, I've done this lesson fairly quick today because I got a whole bunch of other stuff I got to get done. But 40-second jam track. Stay tuned. We'll get to that and work out what we just learned right here. I hope this little trick was of some use to you. Just remember, if you can set the action a bit higher, it is kind of super cool if you can play it without lifting the slide and using just your finger to press down on that behind the slide note. Like that is such a gentle, subtle thing. just a good exercise to practice, to have a more smooth, subtle technique as opposed to being so aggressive. So, in any case, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. And as always, if I'm helping you with these, please consider supporting me at patreon.com/Dan Walsh. I'll see you soon. Take care, folks.